this movie was a whole process of like unlearning that, and
Yeah.
making sure that it's ruined me for other things, by the way. Like I did a fight sequence in The Boys the other week, and the stunt coordinator had to like come up to me and be like, "Hey, just remember, you can feel this." Like he had to. I'm too used to the other way of doing it, but.
Dude, Jack, Novocaine is an absolute blast.
Thank you, man.
It
Thank you
is-
so much for seeing it.
Of course, and we'll talk about some of the details of the film, some of
Sure.
the scary parts. No matter what we talk about in this interview, when I post clips of it, there's going to be responses going, "Oi, Hughie."
Yeah, absolutely. It's an honor. Every single one is an honor. I'll take it.
Do people come up to you in real life and say,
Yes. Well, I will say that's a lot better than what they used to do, where they would just call me the C word, like Butcher does.
"Well, yeah, I guess."
Or no, they say don't be a, which, it's an honor either way. It's great.
Yeah, it's just good
doing-
to be.
Yeah.
People are watching and responding.
People are doing great.
No, that's good stuff. Last night when we watched Novocaine, it meant I had John Cena's heel turn spoiled for me.
Oh.
That was pain.
Oh, yeah.
That was pain. I opened Twitter and I was like,
Absolutely.
"What's the worst thing you ever had spoiled for you?"
Oh, God. I've actually been pretty lucky with that. I will say I'm very careful now with Severance. I'm obsessed with that show.
I need to catch up.
It's so good, but I'm very much like anytime like Thursday, like the show comes out on a Friday, and every time Thursday rolls around, I'm like, I'll just stay off every piece of social media. I just don't want anything. I'm such a stickler about not wanting anything to be spoiled for me before I actually see it.
Yeah, I mean, and now you get on your phone and it's just immediately everything is there as soon as
Yeah.
it airs.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta watch it immediately.
I know.
And people gotta go watch Novocaine, man, because
Oh,
this
thank you,
movie
man.
it's. I feel like I had this conversation with my friend last night. I was like, I'm glad I watched this in a theater.
Yeah.
Because the reaction, the laughter is really. You're not gonna get that at home. I mean,
Yeah.
it's still a fun movie no matter
Of
what.
course,
But for
yeah.
me, it's like, dude, I'm laughing with people, which makes it more
Oh,
fun.
good. Oh, that's all I ever dreamed of was being in a movie that elicited that. So thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
That's
man.
amazing.
Do you have a movie that you remember, just the comedy of it, the fun of it, that really got you excited?
Oh. In terms of like in a theater?
Just like the group. Like, what's a movie you think you really got to watch with a group of people that's kind of like Novocaine in that regard?
Oh man, I mean, I remember just being a guy, just a moviegoer in the early to mid 2000s when like they were just coming out with like comedy after comedy that was just
Yes.
like banger after banger, and seeing that with big crowds. Like I really do miss those days. I remember seeing Borat with a full crowd.
Oh my god.
I'll never forget that. I will never forget that feeling of just the audience like shaking the room with laughter. Like that was unbelievable. But yeah, there are so many movies that, Jaws is like my favorite movie of all time. Not necessarily that it's like the funniest movie ever, but
Yeah.
I finally saw it with a crowd when it was like re-released. Like I had just never
bet
seen
that was
it.
cool.
Yeah, that and in LA they do these outdoor screenings of movies at the cemetery. It's very strange. But I saw Jaws there as well, and I was like, oh, just hearing the crowd's response to cheering after you're gonna need a bigger boat. Like it's amazing.
Oh, I would love to get. I've never had that experience. That's probably really
It's
cool.
so good. Yeah, if you're ever in LA, go to Cinespia. They're amazing.
Okay. This movie, I mean, everybody's going to talk about you can't feel pain. It's got the violence, the humor, but it's
Yeah.
got a great emotional heart to it.
Yeah,
Without
yeah.
that, I don't think you have the whole thing.
Exactly. That was really important to me.
Yeah. What was it like to kind of bring that to life, and what was your input on it?
Well, I think I think Dan and Bobby were really smart in the sense that they said very early on, like, what we really care about, even more than the action, is this romance between you and Amber Midthunder, and making sure that the whole movie is based off Nate going to save Sherry. So if we don't care about Nate and Sherry, then we essentially don't have a movie. So we rehearsed those scenes. The first third is essentially a rom-com, and we rehearsed those scenes about as much as I rehearsed all the stunt sequences, like just to make sure that we really drilled in that heart. And it was also really important to me. I think my input was making Nate as big of a sweetie pie as possible, just because the movie's so violent and gnarly, and if Nate had any kind of brooding about him, I don't think it would really work. You want something to contrast that. So that's what I tried to bring to the part as much as possible. Is just like, he's a very good person. He might be like one of the better people I've ever played. He's very smart, very, very kind to everyone. What I love about him too is that he doesn't let his disability make him bitter or jaded or negative at all. He's very heroic in that way, and I would like to hang out with him.
I'd be friends with this guy.
Yeah, I'd be friends with him.
Yeah.
Like him and Hughie, I think I would like. Let's go out for brunch.
That's like the
I would love
safest
it.
friend group ever.
It's
too.
so safe.
Like
we're good.
No drama in that
Yeah,
squad.
no
But
safe.
somehow these guys are surrounded by drama.
Yes, always.
But makes for good stories.
Tends to happen to the nice guys. Yes.
He's not having to fear physical pain is one thing, but Nathan Caine does fear emotional pain.
Yes.
Which one do you think is a stronger driver for humans?
Ooh, definitely emotional pain. It's it lasts a lot longer. I'll say that.
The scars from emotional pain.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, we've all
Definitely.
been there.
We've all been there. Yeah.
What was the weirdest thing you saw on the set of Novocaine?
Ooh, it's been a really surreal journey actually, because when I'm in the movie, I'm trying to not play the pain, and then I watch the movie and I'm outside of it and I'm like, ooh, I am wincing, even though I'm not wincing on screen, because that's how gnarly it is. I think there is a scene involving my fingernails that is really, I know.
Dude.
You can leave if you need to. It's a whole
I
thing.
actually I didn't even see the scene
Yeah.
because I was going like this.
Yeah,
I'm not
and I
gonna lie to you.
remember even on that day, and I know it's fake. It's a prosthetic
Sure.
that they've fit to my hand. And shout out to our amazing prosthetics team, by the way. Like a lot of that was practically done, which is so cool. But I know it's fake, and I'm looking at it, and even I'm just like, oh God, this is horrible. Like this is just so absolutely nasty. So yeah, I know. It gets me too.
Human instinct is to, if you're acting like something, you get hit.
Yeah.
Like, I come from the world of wrestling.
Yeah.
They teach you sell. You get hit, oversell.
Oh my
Make
God,
sure you
yeah.
make it like everybody buys it. But in this, you're taking a lot of punches, and
Yeah.
you can't sell pain at all. Does that just go completely against all instincts
Yes.
in that moment? Like, how do you? Okay, we're punching you, but don't react. Just
Yeah.
move as if you got hit.
No, it's really it's a lot actually. You say like you've come from the world of wrestling, you get it. Like in the world of movies, I remember my first real movie was The Hunger Games, and I had some stunt sequences in there, and they're very diligent about being like sell the pain.
Yeah.
Because if you sell the pain, that sells the hit, and that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But this movie was a whole process of like unlearning that, and
Yeah.
making sure that it's ruined me for other things. By the way, like I did a fight sequence in The Boys the other week. And the stunt coordinator had to like come up to me and be like, "Hey, just remember, you can feel this." Like he had to. I'm too used to the other way of doing it, but yeah, it was a real trip to just not have that reaction.
And it's funny because usually, like in the world of wrestling, if somebody like the good guy is getting hurt, that pain makes the crowd root for them. It gives them the sympathy.
Exactly, yeah.
So with Nathan, you must have tried to find something else to make sure the audience got behind him, which I think was his heart.
Totally, it is his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. I think there have been other characters who like can't feel pain in movies, and typically outside of like somebody like Kick-Ass, like typically they're kind of the bad guy. Like they're like, oh, like this guy's really gonna have to contend with our hero.
Yeah.
Like this guy can't feel pain. That's insane. But I love that we're making him a very sympathetic person. So yeah, I knew that I had to win the audience over with something. And you're right. Yeah, selling pain usually is a really quick way to do that. But
Yeah.
that actually made it so I had to sell those hits a lot better.
Oh
That
yeah,
was
dude, you're flying around.
That's the thing. No, but it's like if you're not reacting, you have to make sure your face is turning at the exact moment that punch is coming through the frame.
Yeah.
They were really drilling me on that.
I love it, dude. Okay,
For
but
sure.
I'm sure everybody's gonna ask you about The Boys today.
That's fine.
I just want to ask. Are you like ready to let go of The Boys? Is that going to be a weird thing, a chapter to close? And like, how do
It's
you?
gonna be so weird. Yeah, it's gonna be very bittersweet. It's one of those things that it's just changed my life for the better. I mean, and I love everyone that works on the show. We've become this family. We've known each other. It's 5 seasons, but that's like 7 years of our lives that we've. I read something recently where if you've known someone for 7 years, the odds of you being friends for life are like tripled or something. And I'm really happy that that's the case with this group of people, because they're all so special. Not just the cast, but the crew included. So saying goodbye to that, it's going to be, I'm going to just weep like a baby when it's all over. It's going to be a very, very intense process, but I'm just eternally grateful for everything it's done. I'm a huge nerd. I got to be in a very nerdy thing, and it means I get to continue to be in nerdy things, and it's just unbelievable. So
Yeah, dude.
thank you to that show.
What an awesome! I see you guys you guys look like a family at Comic-Con.
we really
You're the group
are.
that hangs out after the work is done too.
Yeah, exactly.
It's cool. Yeah,
Totally. Absolutely.
Well, I can't wait for everybody to see Novocaine, man. It's a blast, and thank
Thanks,
you so much
man.
for talking with me about it, dude.
And thanks for punching me in the face yesterday.
Anytime you want to
Yeah.
write, just
Yeah,
end
yeah,
this-
sure. No, we're good. We're fine. Good to see you, buddy.